Oh, okay. Great. What is this? You are live. Well, thank you. I've never seen this notification before from Facebook.
I know, it's a new one, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Well, go out of the way. Hello, Mike, Mayor of SQPN, and Masha over there in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands.
In the lowlands. I need to
adjust.
Just used to go there all the time.
I was a regular. Oh yeah.
Do you go there at all with Acme Giant?
Do.
Okay.
We do.
I know you were a lot with Land Chili.
Yeah. And we used to go there with the 7.4 quite a bit, and with the 7.6. I just never picked one of those trips. But actually, one day there, I was at home laying in the pool, and I got a call from scheduling asking if I wanted to go to Amsterdam. Like, yeah, no. Too much fun.
No, I think I'd rather just hang out floating in the pool.
And drink beer. Yep. Thank you, though.
Yeah.
For thinking of me.
Let me adjust my camera a little bit and zoom it on in a bit. Get a better... Yeah, tighten it up. Tighten it up. Okay, what is that thing hanging on? I hope I don't have anything inappropriate.
Too late. I'm just kidding.
This, I'm in the midst of like trying to get stuff together and packed up and moving, and you know all about that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess Liz does too. But there's a lot to do, and it's just kind of it's a mess. I mean, even in normal times, it's a mess.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a messy person, I think, unorganized. But anyway, hello everybody. Well, not too many people there. Hello, Mike and Masha. Hope that some more folks join us. I guess we could put out a tweet or something and say, hey, we're going live. Okay, thanks. And if you want, you could just put the YouTube link. Do you need that? Okay. Okay. Thanks. Oh, Aaron. Aaron decided to show up. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron Ort. I would imagine that's the way you pronounce O-H-R-T. Ort. All right. So is that a little bit better? The framing on me in the video looks relatively straight. Maybe pop it up a little bit. Give me a little bit more headroom. More hair room. Private party. Woo, woo. Yeah.
It is a private party. Think of it as the limo. This is the limo right here.
Oh, I see. We're in the limo. I gotcha.
Yeah.
It takes me a while to catch on sometimes. Okay, let me turn that brightness down a little bit. Not too much. Okay. Alrighty. So, welcome everybody on the video. Hello, Robert Legal. Head over to YouTube, please. Well, because we need more people over on YouTube. We only have, 3 right now? Oh, Mary's here. Mary M. Yeah, it did grow back quickly, Robert. And I'm so happy it did. I made a huge mistake when I shaved it off. I mean, I was still like holding the razor and looking at myself in the mirror going, no.
Should have done that.
Should not have done that, yeah. So, Robert, are you going to head over to YouTube, please? Because I think you'll have more fun there. Because we have, I think, in a second, Liz said she can give you the link. But we have Mary in YouTube, we have Aaron, we have Masha, and we have Mike. Or Michael, to be a little bit more formal. I just flew with a Michael. My first officer's name was Michael.
Did you?
Yeah, Michael Brubaker.
Huh.
I love that. That's a neat name.
Wow.
Anyway, he was...
multifaceted.
Yes, he is a...
and a baker.
A brewer and a baker. Ooh, yeah. I don't know if BRU stands for. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
He was a. God, flew a whole bunch of different things. He was like he's a Marine. Flew F-18s, but I think somehow he got like some kind of cross duty with the Air Force and flew a Citation and something else. So he's got a little bit of time in both services. Another Aaron's here. Longtime lurker and happy to join the party. Hey, A5 Grazler. Aaron. Welcome. There we go. Notice is sent. Link given in the chat. Excellent. Okay.
Fantabulous.
So just in case you didn't know, Andy. A lot of people's names beginning with A here. We have Aaron, and Andy. Anyway, this is part 2 of episode 488. We did part 1 on
Tuesday.
Thank you.
Well, I was in the sim.
Oh yeah, that's something that you're going to mention on the show, I'm sure.
I will fill you guys in on that.
All right. Excellent. Hello, Greg. Yeah, now people are showing up.
There we are.
There's Man Micah.
There's Micah. He said I was in the wrong. I came to the wrong Portland yesterday, and yeah, I did actually. I should have made a left turn at Albuquerque.
Now you won't get in trouble from Acme Giant, will you, for going to the wrong Portland?
Well, set Portland, so this is Portland, I guess. So
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Hello, Craig Messerman. Hello, Eric. Man, we're getting iHall Boxes here too.
Yeah,
wow, we're getting the regular crowd. What was I going to say? I was going to say something really witty.
I don't know.
Let's just laugh as if I did.
That was good.
It's just so funny.
You're just on your toes today.
Yeah. Heck, I don't know what I was going to... I met with Paul Verhagen yesterday, Rick, and he told me to say hi to you.
Oh, hello, Paul.
And, Greg says, Rick sounds a little quiet compared to Jeff, so should I turn my mic volume down? I can do that. Okay. How about now? How's that? A little bit more?
And then, yeah.
A little bit.
Do I still sound a little quiet?
You sound fine to me, but they're talking about what they're hearing in the chat. Rick's audio is low still.
All right.
I can't really. Let's see. Go into cam/mic,
Let me see.
Rick, and just make sure that your and then audio, and then the automatically adjust mic volume. Is that unchecked? Okay, you're sliding it up.
It's unchecked. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah,
How's
I think
that?
it sounds like. Oh, it sounds like it's louder to me.
Okay. Is that too loud or?
So good. Okay. So are we more even as far as balanced for volume? Greg says that's better.
Okay. That's better. Okay. Good.
Good. Okay. Thank you
Rick
for
needs to come up. Well, that's as far as the chair goes. Robert, sorry.
And then you got that slider all the way up, so that's all you can do. Should be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Sure thing, Liz. How about that? Is that better? All right.
Craig said it's better, says Greg. Excellent.
Good. Okay. All righty then. Well, as long as we're doing sound checks, let's make sure that this sounds okay to our YouTube audience. The sound bite here. Okay, Liz says it sounds perfect to her.
Yep.
Now, let's see what our audience says. Put a phone book under your chair, Rick.
I have 2 phone books.
They still have phone books?
They do.
Wow.
Remember those things? Gee.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... Yeah. Liz is saying, the new phone book's here. Can you hear Liz?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I had it set up right. That's the way she likes it, she said. That's the way. She's singing. That's the way. I like it. No lie.
No lie.
She is. Okay. Oh, I need to start my recorder.
Get reminder. I'll do the same thing.
Here. Oh, I gotta make sure that I put that thing right there. Okay, and hit record. Let me make sure there's some kind of a waveform being put down. Looks like it. And I see the waveform for Liz's comment. And we're just waiting for Rick to say something.
I'm saying something. How's that sound?
Oh, something's wrong here. I don't see anything for you. What do we got here? We got mono. We got input 2. Let me go over here again and make sure I got this thing set up right. Loop back to Reaper. Oh, 5. Why would I have that? 5. This is all screwed up. Okay, 2 and 2. Okay, now say something.
Now I'm saying something.
You are. You are saying something. I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it is a big relief. Okay. Good. Okay, so we got that sorted. Let me make sure that we can see the music, and then we'll go ahead and start this thing. Yep, I can see it. All right. Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm getting that recorded. All right, so excellent. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I think we're just about ready to go.
All right.
What? Okay. Kick the tires and light the fires. Let's get this show on the road.
I like it.
All right. Hang on. Let me look at my cheat sheet so I can introduce Mr. Rick. And here we go. And you're what do I say? From his hotel studio in Portland, Oregon.
I'm actually in Vancouver, Washington, right across the river.
Oh, Vancouver, Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where they go to buy cars and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Because the state taxes are better, or sales tax or something.
Yeah.
Tax avoidance strategies. Okay. Here we go. So you can tell us all about Vancouver, Washington. Okay, here we go. You ready, Liz? All right, 16. And again, the power of podcasting. Look who's joined us. It is from his hotel studio in Vancouver, Washington. World traveler, airplane mechanic, Breitling cognoscenti, fitness hound, and international air freight captain. It's Miami Rick.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back. We've got a lot of catching up to do. It's going to be another great one.
Yes, sir, it is. All right, so let me turn down that piece of music, and let's see. Let's just jump into the one piece of news that we left for you to discuss, Miami Rick, and that it would be 1E, and it is interim report. Accident. Omni Boeing 767-300 at Bucharest on August 28th, 2020. Left main gear collapse on landing. And just to remind you, and we did talk about this on the show right after it happened, basically. Mm-hmm. And they've we got some preliminary report action from Romania. Anyway, an Omni Air Boeing 767-300 registration November 423 Alpha X-ray performing flight 703 from Kabul to Bucharest with 49 passengers and 15 crew landed on Baniaza Airport. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. Is that right?
Yep.
Runway 7 with all gear struts down and locked, but about 2 seconds after a smooth touchdown, they suffered the collapse of the left main gear. The aircraft skidded along the runway on its right main gear, aft belly, and left engine cowl. Nose gear lifted off the ground because of the fact that it was had the left main collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they managed to stop it pretty much right on the center line of the runway. Really nice job by the crew, by the way. And we said that when we covered this. Evacuation via the slides. No injuries were reported at the time. So the Aviation Herald, let's see, this is from the Aviation Herald. On September 2nd, so just a few days ago, the AIAS released an interim notification stating the investigation's continuing. The outer cylinder of the left main gear had undergone a thorough metallographic examination at the Boeing headquarters in Seattle and stated that, quote, preliminary results showed that the characteristics of the braking surface are consistent with a mechanism for initiating deterioration of the base material due to its overheating, followed by a hydrogen-assisted cracking propagation. You know what? Hang on. I think I have some audio.
I know exactly what you're going to play.
Of,
and
here,
I
let me
agree.
see.
It is produced by the modal interaction of magneto-reluctance and capacitive directance. The original machine had a base plate of prefamulated amulite surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing in such a way that the two spurving bearings were in a direct line with a panometric fan.
So that's basically what the news is. I was reading this, Rick, and I thought all I could think of in my head was that turbo encabulator clip that we have.
You know, the thing is that 8 times out of 10, it is the turbo encabulator.
No,
So
it's responsible for a lot of
it
accidents,
is.
I think.
Yeah, it really is.
So anyway, I guess what the bottom line is, the outer cylinder of the landing gear, I don't know, there was some problem with the left main gear cylinder, is what I'm getting from this. And it was not, from what I can tell, they're not saying it had anything to do with any kind of a crew action. I mean, it wasn't a abnormally high rate of descent touchdown or high G touchdown or anything like that.
Not at all, not at all. And if the as this, I guess what I gather from this is that if the structural integrity of that cylinder was I guess compromised in any way, it was just a matter of time until it was eventually going to fail.
Yep.
And so it did. But like you said, the crew handled it beautifully, and it was around the center line. And I believe the aircraft did they fix it? I believe they did, didn't they?
I'm not sure if they said that in the article or not, but I would imagine it didn't look like it had that much damage.
No.
Let me show you. Let me share this with everybody, and they can. We'll play a little bit of that video that some kind of a plane spotter was taking and caught all this action of them landing and everything else. Very. You can see how skillfully the pilot put this thing down and then reacted when the left main failed. And let's see here. Okay, go share and video file. No, not video file. I don't want that. Oh, too late. Cancel. Share the screen and window. There we go. Share. Now you should be able to see it. There we go. And then I'm going to play this little piece of video here, and I'll kind of, okay, there it is on short final. Coming in. Oh, I know. Little does he know what's going to happen, Liz says.
Oh man.
All right, coming in. Looks good. Starting to flare a little bit. Level off. Bring it down. Come on.
Put it down.
All right.
Put it down. There it is.
On the way down. Okay, looks perfect until,
Oop, there it is.
Yeah, that's when the left main, and then you see that nose will popping back up. But they kept that thing going straight as an arrow down the runway.
It really did. And at that point, I mean, you really are just along for the ride, and these guys did a fantastic job. And as you said, the touchdown was completely normal. Not a lot of. Usually, the more smoke you see, the harder the touchdown is, and I really didn't see a lot of smoke in this one. So, that's good.
Right. So there's the fractured left main gear. That's a mess.
It is a mess.
Does it ever look like that after you've landed, Rick?
No, because when I land, both of them look like that.
Oh,
in this case,
keep
it's
it
only
nice.
one. So I try to keep it level. So
Okay.
but that's just my technique.
Uh-huh.
So.
You know what? I think I see the problem here. This guy did something to this thing. Who is that guy?
It's like, there's your problem.
Listen, he's got a hacksaw in his hand. Anyway, yeah. All right. So that's the news on this. Looks like it was some kind of I don't know, maybe a manufacturing. It was a bad thing, Liz says. Our expert opinion.
No, and just keep in mind the way these things are certified. I mean, you're basically you're supposed to be able to land at max landing weight at I forget exactly. And I'm sure we're going to get feedback on this. What Part 25 FAR Part 25 was basically aircraft certification says, but I believe the sink rate is 800 feet a minute to a touchdown without a flare at max certificated landing weight. So basically, these things are built to just slam down, no problem.
That's a high rate of descent at full landing weight.
And so if the thing broke the way it did, it was, and as we said, the landing gear cylinder was compromised structurally. It was just a matter of time until it failed, and it did. So, but great, perfectly handled.
Liz is asking, do we know how old this airplane was? I mean, it wasn't a spring chicken, that's for sure, but I'm not sure.
No, I don't know, but it's easy to figure out. You just plug the registration in to
it's November 423 Alpha X-ray, Liz, if you want to look that up. 423 AX, and okay, she's gonna see what she can find.
All right.
Well, would it be okay if we went to our getting to know us segment? Okay, good. Let's do that, and all I have to do here is find it. Here it is. Oh, did you find out? Oh, I'm sorry. She's she's throwing up that picture. She's not throwing up. There it is. Not yet. Give her some time, though.
It'll happen.
Oh, it's 25.7 years old.
Yeah.
Not
Drinking
me.
age.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, so we got all caught up with Nick and Steph on Tuesday, and now we're going to get all caught up with Rick.
Well, so since last time I saw you all, I spent a couple of days at home still. So just relaxing at home, doing a little prep work before going to the sim, which I left for the sim on to go down to Miami on Monday, Memorial Day. So I flew on Memorial Day down to Miami Tuesday early morning. Did my whole routine gym and run, and then over to the sim about 1:30 in the afternoon. I was there till about 8:30 for my biannual check, which is something that a lot of us have to go through depending on the airline. Some airlines do it every 9 months, some airlines do it every 6 months. Mine happens to do it every 6. Mm-hmm. And then just did the whole simulator thing, get to practice things that you don't often see on the line, and that's the whole purpose of it. So a bunch of we had engine start issues, a hot start, a starter cutout issue, taxi out to a normal takeoff, stall and departure, recover from that, a TCAS event.
Let me guess, maybe a wind shear?
Wind shear, we had a wind shear. We did
maybe an engine failure?
Well, absolutely. That was on one of the takeoffs. One engine failure before V1 for a reject.
What a surprise!
I know. And the thing is, you know that they're going to give you I used to do this as well. Basically, when you crank the weight up, and you lower the visibility for the takeoff for the runway, that's when your engine failure is coming.
That's always a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting on the end of the runway in the takeoff position, and weight's going up and the visibility's going down. You're going, oh no, here we go.
And so you go accelerate, right at V1, boom, engine blows, and then it's put the correct rudder input in, hopefully, fly it straight, and then apply the procedure. Come back around for a hand-flown single engine ILS to a go around, and then the weather magically clears, and then you come back around for a visual approach single engine. And then the cool thing that we did this last time that I thought was nice, that we don't often get to do, I wish we did more, was just flying just visual patterns around with the airplane. No autopilot, no auto throttle, no flight directors, just fly it like a Cessna. It was really nice. So get up to 1,500 pattern altitude, because for jets, pattern is 1,500 feet, and then just basically keep it inside of a 6-mile radius around the airport, because if you're going to be at 1,500 feet, basically you need 5 miles to lose those 1,500 feet, because it's 3 to 1, a 3-degree glide, and then the proper rated.
Hang on.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. You got to break.
Okay.
You got to break out the abacus there, and then figure out what the proper rate of descent is based on your ground speed. So you take your ground speed, multiply that times 5, or take the first two, so 140 knots. So that's your final speed, right? You take the drop the 0, 14, divide that by 2, add 2 zeros to that, 700 feet a minute. So that's kind of how I do it.
How'd you do that again? I don't think I know that one.
Really? So you take so let's say your VREF plus 5 is 140. Your because this is based on your ground speed. Sorry. So you take your ground speed. So that's 140 knots. You take the first two numbers, right, and then divide that by 2.
Okay.
So it's 140. So 14.
Okay. Wait. Hang on.
There you go. Okay.
5.
Umbrella.
No, is that wrong? Umbrella. Blue. Okay, so you divide it by 2, you got 70, and then add something
so
to
7
it.
and add 2 zeros to that, and 7. That's your and that's the rate of descent based on your ground speed.
Oh, I like
to
it.
maintain a 3-degree glide.
Or you could look at that little table there in the plan view of the approach plate. But you can't. Well, I guess
ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So did that. So passed, thankfully.
Yay!
And I following day, so they had me going back to Ontario to sit reserve, and I knew that was going to change. So they just that very night they assigned me a flight out of Rockford, Illinois. So the following day, this was Wednesday, I flew up to Chicago.
From Miami.
From Miami, yeah. Okay. And then I took a limo from Chicago, from O'Hare to Rockford. It's about an hour and 20 a minute ride. It was really nice, just right through the country there. Made it to Rockford, and then yesterday evening at 6, left Rockford for Portland. Got in here at 9 o'clock. It was interesting because we were coming in, and on the descent, we lost the ground proximity warning system, and so we had no visual representation of the terrain around us. But, I mean, we were under radar vectors, under radar contacts, and none of that stuff was unsafe. But the interesting part was that along with us losing the GPWS, we lost all of the radio altitude call-outs that you get, the 2,500, 1,000, 500, and all that stuff. And so I had my it was back to having remember, like, back in the day when you had an engineer and the engineer was a radio altimeter? When you're coming into land, and he called 50, 30, 20, 10, all that stuff. So I had my FO do that for me, and it was good. Landed here, came to the hotel, and then here I am today, talking to you all, you fine people.
Oh, well, we're so happy that you're here with us, so we could hear all about that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talking about those flight engineers being your radio altimeter, I always hated it when they called out those numbers too fast. And I would always say, look, slow it down next time, because that was a hard landing.
Next time, just a little bit better
just
cadence.
Don't say those so fast. And I think you actually skipped one of those. And
you went from 50 to 10.
Well, that would be more than skipping one. It would be, that would be a really bad one.
Yeah.
But that was always kind of a funny little thing to say. Yeah, I think you said that a little bit too fast. Goes, no, I think you were probably coming down a little bit too fast, Jeff.
No.
Anyway, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So were you in the soup then when you lost the
the enhanced ground proximity warning
GPWS?
system.
That's it?
Yeah. So the top of the layer. Well, we were at 40,000 feet, and so the top of the layer was at 40, and from right on top of descent to about 15,000, we were in the soup the whole way.
Oh.
And there were
That's kind of, yeah, you're like, oh, it'd be nice to have that because that is very high terrain around that.
Yeah.
Portland
But, you know,
airport.
the other thing you can do is you can, I mean, this is not, you know, but you can you can tilt the antenna and kind of see the cumulogranites down there as well. But like
that's true.
like I said, you know, you're in radar contact, you're clearly being vectored around, and you are on the arrival procedure prior to being vectored around, and so and then by the time we broke out of cloud, I could see Portland, you know, straight ahead, and I just, you know, disconnected everything. Because the other thing about Portland, the ILS to 28 left, the glide slope, and it's on a NOTAM, basically says that the glide slope critical area is not protected, and so you're not allowed, you're not supposed to have the autopilot coupled to the ILS below 880 feet because the glide slope does all sorts of weird things. And so I figured, let's just make it see the airport, just call the visual, and I just hand flew the thing in, and it was no problem. So it was good.
It used to be
Good thing I practiced the day before or 2 days before.
Yeah. Otherwise, it could have been a terrible disaster.
Yeah, it could have been. It was a disaster averted.
Excellent. Averted. Yeah. Hey, going into LaGuardia, I don't know if it's still that way, but the ILS to runway 4 at LaGuardia has a note that says that from the final approach fix inbound, you have to hand fly it because of that kind of interference with the signal kind of thing.
You know what? The same thing in Miami, the ILS to runway 9, you can't do a coupled approach, period. You just can't. And so, I mean, you'll have correct sensing, everything's fine. But you just and the way to get around that is you just ask for the visual, and you know, you fly it coupled because you're visual. But you can't. Yeah, it says on the plate there you can't do a coupled approach.
Sounds like a technicality there, Rick.
It is a technicality. Yeah.
All right, taking advantage of that technicality. That's what we do, though. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Anything else going on?
No, sir. Well, be here today, and then I have a early wake up tomorrow, 1 a.m. for 1:45 a.m. for a 3:45 departure down to Dallas, and 2 hour there while they unload and load, and then on to Ontario. I'll be in Ontario about 2:30 in the afternoon. So tomorrow's going to be it's a 2-legger, and it's a bit of a tired one, a long one. But after that, I said reserve the rest of the time. I imagine they're going to give me something else to do because I don't go home till next Friday. So we'll see.
Yeah, they're not going to let you skate. Did you say Ontario? I hope you say yes.
Absolutely. It's interesting because that's the very song that ATC plays when I pick up my clearance to go to Ontario. So,
really?
Oh,
wow.
That very one.
They must be listening to our show.
I'm sure they do.
Everybody does, Liz says very sarcastically and snarky. Okay. I do want to talk about Fargo, as a matter of fact, Liz. And what do I want to say about it? Hang on. Let me go over to, is it probably something in Evernote or something? Okay, right here, if I click on the right thing. Okay, an update from Kelly Kirk, received on the night, September 9, 21. Oh, just yesterday. Okay. Greetings, APG and opposing bases. Oh, what? He's sending this to opposing bases too? Oh, what is going on here? They're trying to take over everything. Okay. I'm planning a joint meetup for fans and listeners of the Airline Pilot Guy and Opposing Bases podcast. Liz, remind me, after the show, let's take Kelly Kirk off the list. Okay. We will be meeting at the Fargo Jet Center on Saturday, October 9th at 12 p.m. We'll be having a lunch at the Shack on Broadway, located near the Fargo Airport. Well, that sounds like a cool place. With a possible trip to the Fargo Air Museum. This is a family-friendly event. For those, no swearing or cigar smoking. For those interested in attending, please DM me on Slack or contact feedback@airlinepilotguy.com. Wait a minute, that's our address. And yeah, all you people, all you opposing bases people, make sure you send the email to feedback@airlinepilotguy.com, and we promise we'll get back with you. And they will relay to me. Okay, if you're flying in, please let me know your tail number and head count so I can tell the FBO how many tie downs are needed and the restaurant how many seats that they'll need. Blue skies and tailwinds, and this is KK, or Kelly Kirk. And so that's cool. Many of the people that listen to the APG show also listen to, due to poor judgment, Opposing Bases podcast. No, it's a really good show. We listen to it too. Learn a lot from those guys. So that sounds like a lot of fun. So if you're up in anywhere in that area, or you can get to it in a reasonable fashion, contact Kelly Kirk via Slack, a direct message, or again, just send it to us at APG, feedback@airlinepilotguy.com, and then we'll get it to Kelly.
Good deal. And I just want to touch on this because this is a good question. As our legal 31 says, hey, Rick, INOP GPW as in your fleet, is that MELable? It's basically MEL. So the MEL is a minimum equipment list, basically a list of the required equipment for a flight. So you cannot leave with something that is not on the MEL list, right? So like to make it, I don't know, obvious, you can't leave without, an engine, for example. Obviously, it's not going to be on the MEL. So,
well, you could, but it wouldn't be cool.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting takeoff. So the ground proximity warning system is, you are able to defer that, but so initially what happens is when something like this presents itself in flight, the first thing I do, I go to the DDG, the Dispatch Deviation Guide, and even though it doesn't apply in flight because you're already flying, you want to see what kind of limitations that has, and the ground proximity warning system has an interval of so there's basically 4 intervals on how quickly something has to be addressed maintenance wise for it to be returned to service, and the GPWS is has an interval of A. But basically A means it has to be fixed on the before the flight can depart again, right? B 3 days, C 10 days, and D a longer time. And then there's a procedure there. It says there's going to be 2 types of procedures. O for operating procedure, which applies to the crew, and M, maintenance procedure, which applies to the maintenance technicians. And the interesting thing of checking the DDG when something happens in flight is to see if it indeed has an O procedure. And this one, it has an O procedure, and it tells you, it's going to list out all the things that are inoperative. And so I went down through the list, and one of the things that it says that it's not going to be available is obviously excessive deviation below the ILS glide slope, because the ground proximity warning system is going to tell you whether you're getting low or high on the glide slope and how to correct that. No wind shear alerts, no flap and gear configuration warnings. And then the other one, which is why, as part of the approach briefing, I told my FO to call out the radio altitude on landing, is because it says here that all call-outs will be inoperative. And so it's always a good idea whenever you get any kind of issue, even though the DDG does not apply in flight, to go through that DDG, because there may be things that are not on the non-normal checklist that will be there. And it's good to have, just basically as a heads up and how to plan your procedure. So that was a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So in this case, though, if I remember correctly, you said that this happened already after you were dispatched and on the arrival into Port
Yeah, this was during the descent, and the DDG doesn't apply once you are once basically you are under your own power on the way. DDG does not apply anymore, and what applies from that point on is the quick reference handbook procedure.
But you're right. I mean, if you have the time, if you're up at cruise and something like that, so you have time to go and look at it, and even though it's not governing at that point, but it might give you a heads up on what you're not going to have, right?
But let's say, for example, the weather let's say you're going in Amsterdam or London, and the weather is calling for Category 3 Autolands. You go and you look at the DDG, and ground proximity warning system is required for a Cat 3 Autoland. So at that point, see, that could be a deal breaker. because that would make it impossible for you to perform a Cat 3 autoline based on whatever the weather is at your destination. So it's always a good idea.
Yeah, and we have a tab on our QRH that we can go to if anything something like that happens, just to make sure that we have all the airborne requirements for doing certain levels of approaches.
Yeah.
Without having to go to, we don't call it the DDG, we call it the MEL, so minimum equipment list. But
yeah.
Same stuff. I mean, the way you described it and all the categories and, maintenance and operations things that you do or things that you have to think about is exactly the way it is at Acme. Mm-hmm. So it must be a standard thing.
I do believe so.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's go to 12, Rick. Our control room is directing us there, and this is a good one. Jeffrey from Grand Rapids, GRR or GRR. Here's an older video of a fully loaded Aleutian 76 taking off in hot, no wind, high density altitude conditions, and it absolutely crawls off the very end of the runway. The salty/snarky commentary by the folks recording the video really cracks me up. Enjoy. And now we have actually covered this, I believe, on the show. I know I've seen it, and many of us have already seen this, but I never recalled seeing the beginning part of this, where they're making some really snarky comments about this Aleutian 76. And so it is definitely worth viewing again and revisiting and all that jazz. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here and hit the thing. And this time I am going to hit video file. And I'm going to find, I used to have that all ready to go, but it's gone. Okay, here we go. I know where to find it. 488 and videos. And here we go. Open. Fully loaded Russian IL-76 taken off on a hot, calm day in Australia. By the way, this is in the control tower, I'm pretty sure. Okay, the Aleutian IL-76 is getting into position. I mean, he is making sure that every last inch is being used on this runway.
Hey, I do the same thing.
Wait. He's talking to somebody else. No, he's talking to these guys. Can you hear that volume? Yeah, I got it all the way as high as it'll go. Okay. Because the commentary is what's so funny.
The vodka burner is rolling.
The vodka burner is rolling, he says.
Don't do that, I'll shake the camera.
All right, it's rolling down the runway here.
I have to go faster than that, Captain. Right, if I can hear it like that in here.
Yeah.
This is when it gets interesting.
Yeah, you can lift it up any time you like.
That'd be good. Oh, look at that.
Jesus Christ. Shit.
I forgot to warn people.
Well, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't have believed it.
We're not even driving past on that road at the moment.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
He's not over yet.
No, it is not.
It ain't over yet, I think is
And
what
I'm
he said,
running
right?
out of film. Gee, I hope I've got enough to film the crash. I shouldn't say that even in joke, should I? That's okay. Well, that will be worth copying.
Yeah, and that would be worth playing on aviation podcasts.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you're listening to the audio only, you definitely have to watch this. We'll have a link to it in the show notes. And see this thing just lumbering down the runway, and at the point at which you'd think that it should be starting its rotation is when the guy says, "Okay, you can lift off any time now." And they're getting closer and closer to the end of the runway.
Yeah, but hey, in all fairness, they paid for the whole runway, so they're going to use the whole runway.
There you go. They got their money's worth.
That's it.
Yeah. So interesting take on, and I mean, there was no room to spare at all. It doesn't seem like there was any margin at all. So
that's a low 35 feet. Yep, that's a low 35 feet.
Yeah. Did they have that same rule? Do they have to adhere to that 35 foot over the fence rule? Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They have a different way of measuring things, Rob. Anyway, that was interesting. Okay. Liz is telling us. Oh, you want to say anything else about that one, Rick?
Oh, no. I was just it was interesting.
Yes, interesting. That's the best word to describe it. And that happened some time ago. So
yeah,
I'm sure that. Yeah. All right. This is number 3. This is for Rick. Rob sent in. Is it? Which Rob is this? Rob in New Zealand. Okay. Right there in the first line, if I just bothered to read it. Hi, Captain Jeff, the APG crew and community. It's Rob from New Zealand. Unfortunately, the country here has just been plunged into lockdown over a year of having no COVID in the community. The Delta, or is that Acme, variant has been detected in the north. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So the government has taken no chances, and hopefully we can stop it in its tracks. Sadly, this has caused the cancellation of one of the bigger air shows here, the biannual Omaka Classic Fighters Air Show. I was hoping to see if any other New Zealand APGers might be attending, and we could have arranged a meetup. Maybe next year. Or maybe next year? Anyway, back to the feedback. I used to work with a chap who had been a Boeing 727 flight engineer for an Aussie airline in the 80s. He told me that they would find the engines always performed better in the rain. I'm guessing this was due to cooling and increased air density. Not sure if today's high bypass engines are affected in the same way, but would be interested to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for the great weekly aviation fix, blue skies, and squeaky landings. Rob from New Zealand. And I think the perfect person to answer this question is sitting right across from me, across the country in Portland, Oregon. Take it away, Miami Rick.
Oh, man, that's a good one. Well, just so interestingly enough, back in the day, before the days of higher bypass ratio turbofans. The bypass ratio basically is the ratio of the air that goes through the core of the engine to the air that goes through the fan. Right? That's the bypass ratio in a turbofan engine. Before the days of turbofan engines, straight jet engines basically have no turbofan because it's whatever goes in the front goes out the back. Had a system called the water injection system, and the reason behind that was to lower the temperature of the efflux. And by lowering the temperature of the efflux, so basically the air that's coming out, lowering the temperature is going to increase the density. And by increasing the density, you are increasing thrust, because thrust is directly proportional to density, which is inversely proportional to temperature. The higher the temperature, the lower the density. The lower the density, the lower the thrust.
Everybody knows that.
Exactly right.
I didn't do that. That's Liz doing that.
And so, yeah, the just keep in mind that the JT8s, which is what the 727s have, they are turbofans, but the bypass ratio on those is very, very low compared to those newer type turbofans that we have today. And so, yes, the fact that you have air mixed in with water, which is going to bring that temperature of the air down, increasing its density, has most definitely an impact on the thrust being produced by that engine at that temperature. And so, yes. On the newer type turbofans, I imagine so, but not so much because of what's going through the core of the engine. Anytime you bring the temperature of the air, the surrounding air down, as we said, that density is going to go up. And anytime you increase that density, the thrust is going to go up. But I think it's less noticeable on the larger high bypass ratio turbofans as opposed to the lower bypass ratio turbofans. I wish we knew a 727 flight engineer. I don't know if we have one of those around. It'd be interesting to see if.
Let's see if I can find my 727 flight engineer certificate. Oh, it used to be here in this desk drawer, honestly, but I just remembered now. I've already packed that up. Now, so it's been a while since I have practiced my FAA flight engineer certificate. About more than 30 years ago.
Been a little while.
Wow. Yeah. But the JT8D, you're right, is especially that version of that engine is definitely a lower bypass ratio, of course, than today's as Rick said. But we didn't have water injection or any of that stuff on those jets when I flew it. I don't think the 727 ever used water injection.
It never did. No.
I think the 707 did, but I'm not sure if they had the JT8Ds or a General Electric. I'm not sure what they had.
The 707s, the BOACs had the Rolls-Royce Conways, and the other ones, the Pan Ams and the TWAs and all that, they had the JT3s.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and so those were straight jets. Those were straight jets. And the interesting and the way you can tell that the engine's is water injected is because it'll leave this black plume of smoke right behind it. That's one of the telltale marks of water injection.
Well, even that, or either that, or they're burning a lot of oil, or that would be more of a gray smoke, I think.
No.
Anyway, I was trying to make a joke. It didn't work. Let's see. The Harrier jump jets had water injection too. Only enough water to hover for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's no good.
No.
All right. Just a side note, several people have joined the live audience, and we do appreciate that. And I realize now probably one of the reasons is that very soon another live aviation podcast is going to start recording in about just a little over 5 minutes. So, if you're here with us in the APG Part 2 live chat room, thank you for being here today, and don't feel bad if you need to go and watch the PTUK show. But we're glad that you showed up and were able to say hi. And we'll probably jump over there, too, after we're finished recording, which should be, about another 10, 15 minutes, Liz? Okay. So, there's that. Number 8, control room says, this is feedback from Dave P. And he said, this is from listener Dave. Global X Airlines, which is at Global X Airlines on Twitter, tweeted, "Thank you to at Aero Telegraphin for covering Global X's Kabul evacuation missions on behalf of the U.S. government. As the only non-military aircraft performing these missions, we are honored to provide help to those who most desperately needed it." And then he gave us a link to this from the aerotelegraph.com website. A freshly launched airline from the USA is on the move with its entire fleet in Afghanistan. Wow. It is an exception while practically everyone else flies around the crisis country. And then there are some pictures. I don't know if, Liz, you're popping the overlay up. Okay. So we got some pictures here. This one that we're showing on the overlay is the Global X actually on the ramp there at Kabul in Afghanistan, I think. That's what they say anyway. They only received its operating license at the beginning of August and started commercial flights. Now your planes are suddenly on the move in Afghanistan, an airspace that is currently flown around by almost all the other airlines is used almost exclusively for military purposes. On Sunday, August 22nd, an Airbus A320 and an A321 from Global Crossing arrived in Kabul after several stopovers from Miami. The two passenger planes currently make up the entire fleet of the charter airline. So that was their entire fleet.
Wow.
They are also the only non-military aircraft from America that fly to Afghanistan. The reason for the unusual flight movements is an order from the U.S. State Department. However, there are not many details about this. In a statement on Monday, the 23rd of August, Global Crossing Airlines confirmed, quote, that the company has made aircraft available to support humanitarian aid operations in Afghanistan. She referred to the ministry for further comments. The airline's 2 Airbus planes are now flying back and forth between the Afghan capital, Kabul, and neighboring Tajikistan. Why do I keep wanting to put a D on the end of everything? I don't know. Tajikistan. These are evacuation flights for those in need of protection. What is striking, however, is that the U.S. military itself uses Qatar as a base for their evacuation and subsequent redistribution flights. Of course, this is all in the past. We all know what happened there, and we pulled out our last troops on the 31st of August, I believe. And it's a mess over there.
Yep.
And then it talks about the U.S. activating its Civil Reserve Air Fleet, CRAF or CRAF. Yeah, but that was interesting. I've never heard of this airline. Have you?
No, me
Rick?
neither. No, never have. And if they just got their certificate, that's talk about hitting the ground running here. That's wow, commendable.
Really. So I guess they're. Did I mention that? I think they must be some kind of a charter outfit, all right? With only a fleet of... Yeah, it's a charter airline. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dave, for sending that in and making us aware of Global X or Global Crossing. And now we are aware of it, and we'll kind of be looking for more from them. And... Okay. Yeah, so this is something we played on part 1, but there was a part of it that made a reference or a question for you, Rick. So let me set this up again. This is from Texas Charlie. Howdy, Captains, Jeff, Nick, and Rick, and a tip of my hat to the true talent, the lovely Dr. Steph and Liz. So we can see Texas Charlie, where, he likes the ladies. That's what I'm going to have to say about that. Hope this note finds everyone in great spirits and good health. And so this is what he said. I happen to have a friend who is a first officer for a small regional airline out of Oklahoma. He made a voice message. Wasn't too sure how to say. Oh, it was not this part 1, was it? It was the previous show that we did this. Yeah, on episode 487. Anyway, he made a voice message. He wasn't sure how to send it to us. And he said, he's from Oklahoma, so you understand. So he asked me to pass it on. He taped it on an old Radio Shack portable cassette recorder. Therefore, it's not the best quality, but I think you'll still enjoy it. I digitized the recording to make it easier, since Captain Jeff's snail mail is kind of iffy right now. Yeah, he's right. Anyway, his friend's name is Genki Farkenwithel. It's an old German name, not uncommon in small rural towns in these parts, so I hope you enjoy his thoughts and question. He's a bit country and a great guy. I've attached a photo of his plane copied from their website. The internet's spotty that far out in the country, so I was lucky to catch the site when it was up. And he says, adios, Texas Charlie. So, without further ado, let's listen again to the recording from Genki Farkenwithel.
Hi, y'all. This is Genki Farkenwithel from Petula, Oklahoma. I fly the Wrights 8 and drive the Blue Water truck for Oki Air, flying out of Garth Brooks International. I gotta say, your show's as fine as cream gravy. It picks me up when I'm washing off the splashback after running the vacuum hose on the poop truck. Now, at Oki Air, we got a fleet of one itty-bitty plane. Bessie's our mom on 737-300. Now, forget glass slippers. This princess wears boots. She's tough, smells like the farm, and a lady in every way. Now, I was listening to an episode a while back and heard y'all talking about layover accommodations, bunkhouse as fine as a custom saddle. I heard lots of good stuff about fancy feather beds and ice boxes full of sandwiches and goodies. Let me tell you about what we got at Oki Air. Our little outfit's too poor to paint and too proud to whitewash, so we gotta squeeze a quarter so tight the eagle screams. And let me tell you a secret. We don't service the fanciest airports. More like an outhouse in August. You don't want to go there, but you gotta. For example, we usually have to do a low flyby to scare the cows off the runway, And since none of the airports we service have jet bridges after we deplane via the air stairs, you got to watch out for them fresh cow pies. Those things will really do a number on your ropers. Nan, after we tie down old Bessie, 'cause it kind of gets windy on the prairie, and scrape the bugs off the windshield, we take a shuttle to the company layover quarters, which usually is a couple of vans sitting out in the far edge of remote parking. The company always has a nice mattress laid out inside each van and a big orange Home Depot bucket hanging off of each trailer hitch so we can take care of our bottling needs. For snacks, they usually done stuff the glove compartments with bags of Cheez-Its and pork skins, so we're all set. If we have enough time for our next flight, we might partake in a bit of shine, usually kept in a jar back by the spare tire. When we're traveling with a mixed crew, the ladies take one van and us guys will take the other, but right now we ain't got no gals at Okie Air. For some reason, they don't stick around after the first day, but we keep trying to hire more of the fair sex. Lord knows I like to sit next to someone in the left seat who doesn't smell so bad she'd knock a dog off a gut wagon. Anyway, I got a question for y'all. Captain Rick, I know you're as busy as a stump-tailed bull in fly season, but I got a question I think would be perfect for you. Everyone and his dog knows that the Dream Lifter has a capacity volume of 65,000 cubic feet and a max takeoff weight of 803,000 pounds, while the Beluga Airbus has 53,000 cubic feet and 341,700 pounds. What I want to know is this. When a Dream Lifter pilot walks into a bar, do Beluga pilots slip out the back like a politician from a whorehouse? Well, thanks for letting me poke my nose under your fence. We howdied, but we ain't shook. So if and you find yourselves in our parts, be sure to stop by for an ice-cold yoo-hoo. Mama and them would just love to meet you. Golf India November Kilo India Echo out.
Wow.
I need to turn my microphone back on.
I think you do. I reckon
right.
you do.
Yeah. So you'll understand now, Rick, why we had to, we entitled the last episode, APG's Gone South.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's exactly how it happens. You know, you walk into a bar with your ropers, and then people know you fly the Dream Lifter, and they do skedaddle out the back door like a politician out of a whorehouse. It's just how it happens.
Yeah. Okay. So he can attest to it.
I can attest to it. Absolutely.
It's a Rick certified true fact right there.
And I do miss flying the Dream Lifter. I do miss flying that thing.
Well, hey, who knows? Maybe someday in the future you might be flying it again.
Who knows? Hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, thought you would enjoy that, and that's going to wrap it up for today's show. And so we're going to talk about our wonderful website. Here we go. I better not stop doing the Southern accent again. I'm sure it's offensive to certain people, and I don't blame them for being offended. And I'm not making fun of it. I actually like talking with the accent. But anyway, so we have this website, airlinepilotguy.com, where you can find all kinds of information about the crew and the community, which is the most important part of all this, the community. Got some merchandise, and we have the Plain Tales page where you can find out more information about Nick's wonderful Plain Tales that he does every week. No, I'm sorry, that's not Nick. That's the old pilot that does that. Yeah. And let's see. Also ways that you can on that Plain Tales page, there's some information on how you can subscribe to the Plain Tales and leave reviews and all that jazz. We have the APG community calendar where you can find out when we're going to be recording, and I usually throw up some stuff about the trips that I'm going to be on for each month. And the library, our librarian Tiffany manages that, and so if you'd like to read stuff, that's the place to go, and so much more. So check it out, airlinepilotguy.com. And we're also on the social media, or the social medias I like to call them. And Rick, you want to help me out with that?
Sounds good. Facebook page, Airline Pilot Guy. Everything Pilot Guy related on Facebook. Also Twitter, at APG Crew. Everything APG Crew related on Twitter there. And Instagram, APG Crew. Lots of cool pictures, all APG Crew related. And I believe Hillel deals with the other end of the operation here.
Okay, hang on. Let's see if I think he's here.
Oh, is he?
Hey.
Okay.
Hello. Time for Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
Okay. Well, come on over. And
He's got his towel on, I hope.
Yeah. Well, he's got that robe on, and he's holding something in his hand, and I just really can't describe it. It's kind of, I don't know what to say about that. But watch out for the boxes. There are a lot of boxes in here now because I'm doing some pack. Okay, he's going to sit down right now here and talk about Slack.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and Plain Tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com, or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Hillel. Appreciate it.
I wouldn't go in there for a while, Captain.
Okay, thanks for the warning.
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, good heads up there. And we also want to say a big thank you to our wonderful director and producer and assistant, Liz Pyper in Toronto, Canada.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Liz. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off, and I'm going to wish you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
We'll see you next time. Keep the blue side up.
Ta-da! All right. Perfect. Good
Nice.
timing. A little bit late for the PTUKers. They've been going almost 10 minutes now, I'm sure, because they're very punctual. Yeah, if any of you are still here and you'd like to watch their show, you are dismissed. You can go ahead and go on over there now. We don't need any suggestions for titles because Nick already had something in mind, and in fact, he has already finished the artwork for it. So we thank you for joining us today on somewhat short notice for the part 2. And yeah, I guess we did, Kelly, if you're wondering, we did mention the update to the Fargo meetup, October 9th, and all that stuff. So if anything changes, just let us know. And we'll definitely do it, on some more shows before the event. So in case somebody missed it, and if you want to contact Kelly via feedback@airlinepilotguy.com, you're more than welcome to, and then we'll make sure that information gets passed on over to Kelly. And I think that is all we have for today. Anything else, Rick?
No, that was nice, tight 1 hour package. Beautiful. That was great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for noticing my tight package. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Liz really liked that one.
Yeah,
all right.
she did.
Thank you, everybody, and have a
See
great
ya.
weekend. Bye-bye.